Balamb Garden. I don't really know what to say about it. This is one of my all-time favorite builds in Second Life. There's supposed to be another ring on the side of it, but I think it got lost during the import. A long time ago, there used to be a Final Fantasy VIII sim that was absolutely gorgeous. Everything, when you walked in there, it looked exactly like you were starting at Balamb Garden. There was the classrooms, and there was the training center, and then there was the fire cavern, and then I think to the training center because I love the training center. I used to hang out there the most, the training center and the cafeteria. Go figure. And I absolutely love this sim. And then it got shut down. They closed. So for a long time, it was gone. And then one day, it just resurfaced again. Uh, this is like back in 2013 or something, 13, 14, somewhere around that time. And it resurfaced again, and I was super excited. So happy. My favorite place in all of Second Life was coming back. And then it was like the Zelda sim was being built. So it was like all my favorite video games, I can lose myself into Second Life and have that true Second Life experience. So I went there, and at the time I was going through, what do you want to call that? A furry phase, sort of, kind of. I wasn't a Neko, because I didn't have the grease on, the body grease and the star tattoos. No, I was a dignified half foxling. So I had a tail, just a regular fox tail, but and I was wearing that. So I came to the sim, and I know that there was humans only on, but I left my tail on because it was just habit. Once you have your tail on for a year, you kind of forget that it's back there. So I teleport to the sim, and the guy is like, ugh, furries. No furries allowed here. There are no furries in Final Fantasy VIII. Get out of here. I take it off or I'll ban you. He says on voice, just like that. Like, and I was like, what? But it was an accident. My tail, there's a lag going on here, and it wouldn't detach. I don't care. Take it off now or I'm going to ban you. So I took my tail off because I wanted to explore the brand new garden that everybody was talking about. And the guy leaves, and I was totally, like, livid. I was like, how dare he? Especially after I was part of the people who donated money to help it get rebuilt. And you want to talk to a donator like this? F you, man. So you know what I did? I waited at night when everybody was off the sim. And I snuck on to here. This is like back in the day, so the only viewer that was available was Neo Life back then. So I snuck on with Neo Life and stole the whole sim. I stole the whole sim in one big swoop. I took the garden, I took the training center, I took the classrooms, the cavern, everything that wasn't nailed down. And then I walked around taking it in pieces just in case I wanted to resident in a sandbox. Because, I was on a small 512 at that time, so I thought maybe I could put the classroom down and just live in the classroom as a skybox or something like that. So I stole all that stuff, and then I forgot about it. I was just like, yeah, stupid jerk. I'm not even going to really pay attention to these guys anymore. I'm going to go and live on the Zelda sim. Like, that wasn't even better. So what happened? Fast forward a little more. 2014 rolls around, and all the Final Fantasy VIII sim crashes and burns again and totally vanishes. All the original builders and the people who had a copy of the garden vanish from Second Life. You go onto the group, like the groups that were in charge of it, and you look there, and their last sign-ons were in 2014, 2013, 2015, and you can't leave messages to them because I was like, I got a half sim. Let me try to put the garden on that, or at least some garden parts. They're all gone. nobody has a copy of this. Everybody only has bits and pieces. I talked to one builder and she's like, "Oh, well, I have the right fin of the garden." And another one's like, "I have the front part of the garden, just the rings, but not the top half of it." And the other one's like, "I just have the infirmary." So it was lost forever, and nobody knew how to contact any of the original builders or how to do it and get it back. So then I remembered. I was like, you know what? I remember I stole that whole sim. Maybe I have it. So I tried to import it back into Second Life, and Second Life is loading everything up, and I'm super happy. Like, it's coming back, it's coming back. I can see the garden again. Oh, this is the inside of it, in case you're curious. I can see the garden again, and it's so beautiful. And it's loading and it's loading, but by the time I get around to uploading, the Second Life had already disabled the ability to import mega prims, which is what this thing is mostly made up. At least the important parts are made up of mega prims. So they disabled it. And here it is loading in. Everybody's eyes are all sparkly and people are crying because they're like, I remember this. I remember seeing this. And we can't bring it back all the way because of the Mega Prim issue. So I tried to go to the creator meetings and I was like, hey, why did we have the Mega Prims disabled? Because, if you look on the wiki, they say it was causing lag. There was a potential for griefing, yada, yada. And I'm like, well, you can grief with just some mesh. It's not a matter of griefing. As long as we can return it, can we have it back? And the guy's like, oh, no, you can't. If you want to bring something in Second Life with those proportions, you'll have to cut it up into pieces and then bring it back in. But do you know how big this is? He says, no. How big is it? I was like, a full sim size. He's like, oh, well then, there are plenty of tools you can use to export your prims into mesh, export it into mesh, and then chop it into pieces, and then import them back in as mesh. It was such a blow because here we have the potential and money and actual computer power to support Balamb Garden and maybe even redo it better than it was back then, like better than this, because I started working on some of it by putting in this fancy grass. We can redo it. And he's like, nope. And I'm like, it's not an issue between Second Life. I mean, people have learned to deal with it. If it's griefing, we can remove it. Even one of the Lindens tried to work on it by just giving people the ability to return mega prims if it's overlapping on their sim, but they won't fully implement or support it. They're like, oh, well, just use the old ones that's still lingering around. Sorry, I don't mean to rant off by that, but that's pretty much my position right now with Balamb Garden, is that we have it. I had to go and take it on OpenSim and import it in where OpenSim supports giant prims because they know what what people need. And we were able to bring it back here. The problem with this is that nobody wanted to come over to OpenSim to roleplay and stuff because he was like, my character is on here. I need my bento butt cheeks or something like that. So they won't come over here even though they desperately want the garden back again. So that's what started up the Operation Garden Recovery, as I like to call it, where we tried to bring in as much as the old garden and then replace, got stuck in the wall, the old parts. So that's really what this video was supposed to be about, was showing you how you can get a copy of the garden and import it back in. Now, it probably won't look like this when we're done because, one, I have no idea where I got that animated water script from and what parts of it is. And when I went to go click on it, it was like no mod, no copy. So I'm like, oh, but it's... So I have no idea what scripts the builder used on that one, or at least my friend used on that one. Also, you got to pay for this grass that's right here, and that's like $500 for that. So basically, if we want to start this, we're going to need a minimum of 500L and a animated water script because I seriously don't know where that water came from. So with that, all that said, I'm going to show you how you can bring it in because I would really hate to see such a beautiful build filled with all this love and passion for Final Fantasy VIII just vanish because a Linden doesn't want to flip a switch or somebody doesn't feel like signing in anymore. Now, if they happen to finally enable that no limitation on prims button, then you could just import the file and then work on from there and play. But until then, we'll be putting it together so that it can at least you can at least get the bones of it. And maybe then you can play and enjoy Final Fantasy like we of old used to. Plus, the more Final Fantasy VIII stuff that spreads on the grid, the better. I'm tired of all that Final Fantasy VII crap. Hashtag Midgard sucks. But viva la Gaberia, viva la Balamb. I forgot there's an extra A in there. Alright, so let's get this on the road and start showing how to import it because it's like 2 seconds. Alright, so see you in there.